December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
We're sitting right by the radio. Yeah, a whole bunch of us are sitting by one of them old radios and taking it all in. Yeah, I remember that day.
What was the reaction?
Well, we were thinking about how we're going to defend ourselves. And so at that point, we didn't know if the Japanese were going to keep coming or what they were going to do.
During that World War II time period, did you have friends that went off to the service?
Oh, yes. Some that didn't make it.
Yeah.
The neighbors up there.
This is all in Dunkirk area, right?
Yeah, west of Dunkirk.
West of Dunkirk.
No, I worked on my dad's farm.
Worked on the farm.
Yeah, he had enough work for 10 people there. He was a workaholic, I'll tell you. No, he had a cattle operation, a horse operation, a hog operation, truck farming.
Oh, my word. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, of course, we had 500 acres there.
Did you get drafted into Korea?
Yes, I did.
You weren't exempt because you were working on a farm or anything like that?
Because we didn't have a dairy. We had a farm, dry cattle, beef cattle, so on, but that didn't, you had to have dairy cattle.
Where did you go to boot camp?
Fort Dix, New Jersey.
Fort Dix?
Yeah. First of all, they put me with the 716th MPs, trained me with them, and so I thought I was going to be an MP. Well, things were getting hot in Korea, so orders were changed. So instead of going through 8-week basic, they put me through a 6-week. And so they really pushed us, I'll tell you. And so the main thing was to get us over to Korea. And I landed through Inchon. And of course, if you've heard about Inchon, the water's so shallow, the boat can come in so close, then you have to come in on landing barges. I always think of a funny thing there whenever I think of Inchon. The big guns are going off in the mountains like a thunder and lightning storm. Nobody's saying anything. And you got us all up on the deck there to take head count. And there's a guy standing right next to me I went through boot camp with. And the guy was a genius. But in everyday life, he's the most stupid jackass I ever met. And you know what he says to me? He said, "I don't remember how to load this." Okay. So when we got to the holding area that night, he got some lessons. Can you imagine that? No. And that guy was, IQ had to be a genius. I got hurt once, but never reported it. The guy said, "You're nuts. You should report this." Oh yeah, they'll take me down to the hospital if I cut my leg off. I got the scar right here with a bullet hit right here. Yeah.
So when you land at Inchon, let me take a look here.
It's pretty well healed over, but that's where it was, right there.
Was it a nick, or it didn't pass all the way through, right?
It just hit right against the bone. I picked it out with a knife.
Boy, you were raised tough.
Oh yeah, we don't go to the doctors. But anyway, like they said, you should have, had that reported, and
You would have had a Purple Heart on it.
you got something out of it. And I said, well, you don't need to. And just put some disinfectant on it. Of course, we had the packs, with the disinfectant. And from Inchon, it took me to Seoul, to a holding area. Then they put me with a Division, 2nd, as a rifleman. And I just there a very short while. Then after that experience, they put me on the train and took me down near Busan, Korea. And I ended up with the rest of my stay in a place called Tongnae, Korea. And there was a big school there, 3-story building, and we took this all over as our command post, so to speak, or whatever. And so I spent rest of my time right there. And we've had some experiences there too, because the mountain there, you'd be talking sometimes, the snipers would be puff of dust, and every once in a while somebody got hit, but it kept you on your toes, you know. And then another time I was on a truck coming back from the warehouse area, and they opened fire on us, and they stopped the truck, and we all dived into the rice paddy. Human waste. Yeah. We were a bunch of stinkers. Yes. And nobody got hurt. Another time I had some guys go up in the mountain, going to a little lake up there, and they got ambushed, but nobody got hit, but the Jeep got filled full of bullet holes. Quartermaster Record Specialist.
What's that mean?
In other words, working in a warehouse office. In other words, when this is a big holding area for all the supplies, food, clothing, so on. So they had to break down how much is going to go on this freight car or this truck, but mainly freight cars. And so in other words, so many cases of this, and that, the breakdown. Mm-hmm. And so that then there were sometimes they had me work with the crews outside to head it to make sure nobody's goofing off or stealing. Yeah.
Was there any stealing? Was there a black market?
Wasn't there? I could buy a brand new 45 in the grease for $15 if I wanted it. Nobody wanted them. Now I'd get $1,000 for that gun if I had it. Like when I landed in Korea, I didn't think the ladies were very pretty. I thought they were very coarse features. I'm glad I left Korea when I did, because they started to look beautiful. Another experience I had, us boys, we had some time off, so we decided to go check out this off-limits section. We got jumped by a bunch of thugs. We had no weapons, because we were, on free time. And so anyway, they were out for anything valuable, like pens and whatever. The only thing I lost was a pen. But they wanted watches, cameras, whatever. And before I got out of there, I had no skin left on my knuckles. But the one Korean drove a knife right into my shoulder blade. Okay. And that's the only reason I'm here today, is he hit the blade instead of between. Boy, that was painful.
Now, did you go see the doctor over that?
Nope.
Tough dude.
I had a good scar there, but I think the last time you looked at it here after 60 years, there's much scar left there. But man, that was painful, I'll tell you.
Now, you're talking about limits, off limits.
See, we didn't even dare report it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
of
'cause,
course,
yeah.
you're off base.
Yeah. Yeah, we never reported it, but we never went down in there again either.
I bet not.
Some of the things that you didn't want to remember that you probably remember now and willing to talk about what are some of those things that just were they rough experiences or colleagues of yours that didn't make it?
Yeah, the one experience that I just took a little while. I got on detail to help load dead to send down further south and see some of these guys with their faces blowed away and stuff like that. I felt pretty fortunate. The other thing that bothered me in Korea is in the wintertime there is the kids all huddled up under the bridges. They were orphans. Look the other way.
You had to look the other way, right?
Look the other way.
You couldn't help
Yep.
them.
We can't do nothing for them. They're all cuddled up like a bunch of animals trying to...
Yeah.
You'd like to feel like something you could do to help them kids, but I was always brought up to help somebody. And another one that I felt bad about is I had a Korean laborer went to get off a truck, and the truck behind him come right in, crushed him, killed him right there. Then another time I was in our company area, we had some Chinese prisoners with a Korean guard with a M1 with a bayonet on it, standing guard over them, doing work, picking up and cleaning up. And one Chinaman, right, I'm about from here to her, turns on the guard. Just that quick, the bayonet's through his gut. And then we had different fellows that started playing with some of the girls, and the diseases were something else. We had one guy in our tent that played with the ladies, and I forgot what, they didn't even have a name for it, but it was a disease. And they had to make him a gelding. I was told right off in Korea by an old first war sergeant, or second war sergeant, don't get too friendly with anybody. That way you don't feel so bad. So I didn't. Yeah. Stuck to myself and told myself if I survive this mess, I'll never complain again. And it's helped many times. When things got tough going here, this is nothing. We were for MacArthur. Thought we should go and lick their butt right away, had them running. And of course Truman, he had other ideas that, well, that's another political war, you know. Some people call it police action. Well, I think when people start shooting each other, it's war. I had different people thank me. And that's all I needed. Yeah. And the way I felt about it, I went and did my job. I didn't need no big fanfare. I did my job. I think that to go through it again, I'd jump off the barn roof and break both hips.
Quite a memory.
Not too bad for the old guy.